How you're doing? I'm Ralfy here, Ralfy Customs. Time for another Banggood H-Calorie diesel heater review. Right, regular readers will see that I have received, reviewed and installed the toolbox, H-Calorie toolbox. I think it's their biggest top of the line, all bells and whistles, comes with an app. You can remove the control panel and have it mounted on an extension cord remotely. And all that, and it is absolutely on point. Now, shortly after receiving and reviewing that, they reached out again and sent me his little baby cousin or brother or sister or whatever, the smaller one, the next one down. There are a few differences, but nothing major. Let's run through what you get, how you set it up, and how well it works. Righto, I'm not going to do an unboxing because I've been using it, I've been testing it out, and I didn't film the unboxing because it's just me taking this out of a box. When it comes, you will get the unit itself. There's 3 connections you need to make. One is the outlet, and you get the Jubilee clip for that, and you can direct this where you want. If you're running the unit outdoors, which you can do because it's fully waterproof, apparently. I don't run it outdoors, but it's fully waterproof. So you can run this to a vent in the side of your van or your shed or your workshop or wherever, and then have the outlet blowing hot air out. One is the air intake, which again comes with clips, so you can clip it on. And the third one is the exhaust. I'll show you underneath. Bear with. Let me just tip it up. So you get the 2 connectors that you need to make underneath. Now, this bottom one, this exhaust one, was not very tight after I'd tightened the clip up that you can't see very well. So I used a bit of exhaust paste on it. This stuff. I think that's really important if you're not running it outdoors. If you are, then not so important because the exhaust gases will just blow away. The other one, the air one, just push it on, clamp it up, and it draws its clean air in for the combustion chamber through this tube, which again, you should really run outside so it's not creating negative pressure in your workspace and drawing cold air in, but doesn't apply to me. Honestly, that took 5 minutes, if that. You get little feet to put on it, which I have put on it. They just clip into place and then screw up. And you get a 12-volt power supply, much like the other one. So you can run it on mains power. Ignore the snake's wedding. You also get the remote control, ready to rock and roll. I believe it's got, well, I know it's got a little round watch battery type thing in. It's not rechargeable like it is on its big brother. That's USB rechargeable. This is not, but it controls the unit perfectly. You also get an extension cable, a power cable, so you can run it off a 12-volt supply. So that's in your vehicle or a separate battery that you recharge as needed. If you've not got access to 240-volt because you're running it in a vehicle or you've not got it where you are. Now, an interesting thing, much like the big one, I've not even took this panel off, but this panel pulls off. It unclips off here. You can extend the wires by over 1 meter and have it up on the wall inside your building, so you can control it via the control panel, but remotely from the heater if you're not using the remote control. And you get a few other bits and bobs that could be useful, could not, depending on where you're siting it. You get these brackets that shove on where I've put those little feet, and then you can bolt it down to a deck or a surface or a shelf or a wall or whatever you're doing with it. Via these bolts, you get a few other bits and bobs. You get extra bits for the pipe work, the ones I've just shown you, so you can clamp that up away from a surface because it gets ridiculously warm. Yeah, bear that in mind. Some people salvage the heat from the exhaust. Not something I've bothered to do. For my application, I just want rid of the noxious gases and the job's a fish. But you can clamp this to the side of the wall or wherever it's running to make sure that it's not getting near anything combustible or damageable. And the same with the air intake. You get a clip for the air intake, so you can route this where you want it. You can stand it up there and it will all be happy days. And of course you get a really thick manual. Now it's in lots of languages, so the English section is nowhere near as thick as the book would suggest. And to be fair, I've not read it because it is so simple to use. This is the first time I've looked at it. So it explains what the thing is and how it works, and it gives you an exploded view of the heart of the beast. Yeah, the actual the burner and the heating bit. You get a list of the parts that you should have received when you opened it, which I did. I got everything there, and then it shows you those connections that you need to make. You need to be sure that you don't get these mixed up, because that would be a bad day. Yeah, you would burn the intake if you tried to run the exhaust through it. It is only a thin aluminium flexi pipe, and it'd last about a minute. So be aware of that. And then you get a bit of safety stuff and the basic instructions about how to use the control panel and all the rest of it. Honestly, it is so simple, it's just a breeze. All I did was connect the 3 hoses as I've just shown, plug it in, plug that in the thingy, in the outlet, so you're running electricity to it, and then it says 5 litre max, and I've got 5 litres in it. There's 5 litres in it now, but it only indicates from half full down, so bear in mind with that. It's got a massive fill port, so you can use your jerry can like I did and not splosh it too much. And it's got a handy dandy filter that is full in there to stop you getting any debris in which might clog the fuel pump, which would be an inconvenience. So connect your 3 hoses, plug it in, put fuel in it, sight it where you want it. I'm going to run it up on the bench. Use your remote. Now, it is this simple. Press on, watch that control panel. So we'll press on, starts to fire up. Yep, there's the fans running, but it's not actually burning yet. It has to go through a very, very quick, I think it's 4-minute start cycle before it actually starts burning properly and producing heat out of the outlet. But we'll keep an eye on the exhaust once it gets running, and I will show you how clean this thing runs. Okay, now one of the critiques of these, especially the earlier ones, was how loud the fuel pump was. Now it's priming itself, getting ready to fire up now, so you can hear the fuel pump clicking. They use a diaphragm pump, and I think it started. I think it's firing up. It's not actually burning just yet. But trust me, I've got my hearing aids in, and that ain't that loud. If I stand back a bit, it's not a problem. You could have that in your shed, in your workshop. It won't be too bad. It's not irritating, annoying, or invasive in any way whatsoever. And once it's up to temperature and running, then it barely clicks because it don't use a lot of fuel. Now, if you notice, it has actually started firing up. Sounds like a little jet engine, but again, it's not very loud. If it was loud, I'd say. And that is just starting to come through a little bit warm, so it is now burning fuel. And if we look at the exhaust, nothing. Just nothing. No smoke, no steam, no anything. Obviously there's carbon monoxide. I've got a monitor on the bench there, and the Big Brother comes with a monitor built in, so that might kick off because I'm running it right next to it. Not the best idea, but that's it going at full chat. And it is cleaner than Julie Andrews' memoirs. That is nothing coming out of there that's going to give you any worry, apart from the poison gas that you can't smell or see. And there you go, that is now running. Not quite red hot, it's certainly warming up. And looking at the timer on this video, this has been running for about 2 minutes. Right, we're another 30 seconds, maybe a minute max, and that's doing it. That is delivering the goods. So total startup time from cold to kicking out hot air is probably 4 minutes maximum. There's a couple of ways that you can set it to run. Okay, so you've got manual, which we've got now, and you just turn it up or down using these buttons, the up and down buttons, or the same buttons on the remote. Look, I'll just turn that down, 7, 6, etc. Yep, no problem. What you can also do, because this unit, remember, you can mount it remotely in your room if this is outside. This control panel monitors the ambient temperature. So if you press and hold the gear button, it should shift it into ambient temperature mode. Yep. So Again, using the up and down either on here or the remote, you set it to the room temperature that you desire, and it will go into low mode when it reaches it and high mode when it's not. So there it is in full hammer. It is absolutely the cleanest running, apart from it's that big one over there. I had no idea that these things ran so clean. I'm not going to run it for very long in my enclosed workshop because I don't want to fall over like. Safety is of the utmost importance when you're burning diesel as a fuel. Okay, so to shut it off, if you want to shut it off, again, it couldn't be easier. You've got a big off button, yeah, or you press this button and hold it for a couple of seconds, like so, and there it goes into off mode. Now, because the element inside is still really hot, it's not going to just shut off. It has to run through a cycle. The fan keeps running until it cools down enough, and then it'll put itself properly to sleep. Speaking of which, you can also have it in vent mode with its, when it's turned off, sorry. If you press and hold that button, hold on, let me just check the instructions. Right, my bad, it's still closing down, look, it's still showing you that it's closing down. We'll wait for it to go fully to sleep, and I'll show you the the second function. It doesn't only blow hot air, you can have it purely as ventilation. It's quite a powerful little fan in there, so you can have it running without burning fuel, and it blows cold air for when it's cold. Now, I'm not sure if you can use the temperature room ambient setting for the cold air fan, whether the temperature rises above your threshold, it kicks in blowing cold air out or not. And I'm going to struggle to test that because it is cold air today, so I don't know. But I'll wait until this has finished its cycle, and then I'll show you how to put it into fan only mode. Right, that is actually shut completely off now. It does take about 4 minutes again to close completely to shut down, so I can show you this mode. There we go. That is now in air, not H, so it's A, and then you can control the fan with your up and down buttons, and it will blow out air as cold as it sucks in. Yeah, I think it will automatically just close down. There you go. There are also screen brightness adjustments within this, and a clock and a timer. Yeah, but what I really wanted to show you was, hold on, bear with, there's an app, look, H calorie app. Stop checking my home screen out. There we go. So when you get on the app, you can control it all. You can blow wind, you can go into heating. Yeah, you can activate the device. Oh, that's not a good one. It's done that one, look. I've connected to the wrong one. Hold on, let me just connect to the other one. See if I can get out of here. Right, that's the problem with having two. So we can't do that. We'll disconnect from the other one. Look, it's in standby. We've connected to that one. We can blow wind, we can heat in. And now this one should fire up. Hopefully, there you go. If you can hear it, that's fired up through the app. And there's lots more settings and controls within the app. Yeah, though you can absolutely use your phone. You can turn it up and down. You can put it into blow mode. You can do all sorts through the app itself. Also, via that screen, you can set a timer. Look, there's a timed operation. So you can have it to run for an hour or two, or however long you want. You know, if you're getting down in your van and going to sleep or whatever, you can set it to run for 30 minutes until you nod off. Finish watching me on YouTube, and it's tomorrow morning. It also has an altitude where it will automatically richen if you're up a mountain. Now, where I live, there's not many mountains, so we don't need to worry too much about that. But it just shows that it is a very versatile bit of kit. One last thing as well to point out, or two, is that you can change it from Celsius to Fahrenheit if you're running bananas and not proper units. And manual oiling is for priming the fuel pump. So if you run it dry and it shuts off, it does auto prime. I have ran it dry and it shut off, and then I've filled it back up and it just starts. But if it doesn't, then you can press up and down at the same time and that pump that you can hear ticking now will kick in and the job's a fish. So there you go. I think it's covered it. I'll try and link to my other one because it is just its baby brother. Yeah, my other review on this product. I do need to point out Banggood sent me these free for evaluation and the purposes of this review. Now, if they weren't very good, I'd say they're not very good. And I did put off buying these for a couple of years, even though it gets that cold in my workshop that it's unworkable, to be frank, in the middle of winter. They're proving to be a useful addition. They're very good. I'm pleasantly surprised and impressed by the quality of them, by their efficiency, by how easy they are to set up and run. If they were rubbish, I'd say they're rubbish, and these certainly aren't. Yeah. If you've made it this far, I want to say check out the description below, because there will be a link and a discount code. I don't think I get commission, I don't believe I do, but if you want one, you can get a bit of a deal if you use that discount code. Yep. And I will catch you on the next video, which will be my normal stuff, not a review, all being well. Lots of love, everyone, and I will see you soon. Thanks for watching.